Let's be honest, if you can't articulate deadly force, if you can't define it, you're going to have a tough time identifying it. One of two things is likely to happen.
Hey guys, welcome to Whiskey, Lead, and Steel. Feelings hurt while you wait. I'm Lee Curling, and this is Rick Sutton. And Rick, today we're going to talk about the importance of being able to recognize deadly force.
Yeah.
And this will be a relatively short one.
Yeah.
Because you've got a story.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to let you tell your story.
Okay. So. Appreciate that. All right. So, of course, this is a quick review. We have talked about deadly force here before, right? Mm-hmm. And operating in the space that we are, we come in contact with a lot of people who are carrying weapons for defensive purposes. Outstanding. So here's the story. So I was over at Firearms Performance Enhancement last week talking to Mike, and a customer came in, brought a bunch of guns, and was talking to Mike about these various guns. And the subject came up that this person had taken a whole bunch of classes, mm-hmm. lots and lots and lots of classes, and done all kinds of cool shooting, and the John Wick starter pack. And Mike asked them some questions about what they were doing with the guns, and that piqued my interest. So I came around the other side because they were talking about having a light on their gun. And I said, well, why do you need a light on your, because it was their home defense gun. I said, well, mm-hmm. why do you need a light on your home defense gun? Well, so I could shine it at the intruders. And I said, you don't mean to tell me that you're talking about putting a flashlight on your gun and going out into your house to face intruders, as opposed to barricading yourself, calling 911, and let the professionals do that, because you have no idea how many bad guys there are. And they were like, oh, well, yeah, I hadn't thought about that. I said, but you've taken some classes. Yeah. I said, okay, look, I said, I'm not going to monkey with you. I'm not going to pick on you, but I got to ask you a question. So I said, what's your birthday? Rattle that birthday off. So what is the numbers to your street address? And they came right up. And I said, okay, how do you define deadly force? And they went, wait, what do you mean? I said, deadly force. The concept of deadly force. How do you define deadly force? And she stumbled and she stammered and she was like, well, I guess anything that would make me feel, threatened for my life. And I said, oh, no offense, but you're wrong. Yeah. And I said, the reason I asked you these other questions is, if you cannot articulate the definition of deadly force,
which is
that force likely to cause serious bodily injury or death. That is the accepted legal definition of deadly force across the United States, and quite honestly, in most of the civilized world. So I said, if you can't articulate that as quickly as you can articulate your own birthday, then when you need that knowledge, you're not likely to have it. Because let's be honest, if you can't articulate deadly force, if you can't define it, you're going to have a tough time identifying it. And if you can't identify deadly force in a situation, one of two things is likely to happen. You are either likely to not recognize that it's deadly force, and then you lose the deadly force encounter, right? That has dire consequences. Or you don't recognize that it's not deadly force, and you engage in deadly force, and that has dire consequences. The least of which is you live under an overpass in a cardboard box, and the most of which is that you live in a steel and concrete box provided by the state someplace. And they were like, oh. And I said, not for nothing. I'm not going to ask how many classes you've taken, but here's the deal, and this is my opinion, and I'll stand anywhere in public and mouth this one out. This is my opinion. If you have taken defensive shooting classes, concealed weapons class, whatever, right? If you've gone someplace and given your money to somebody to qualify you and teach you about defensive use of a firearm, and they have not forced you to be able to regurgitate at the drop of a hat what deadly force is, you have A, wasted your money, and B, you're training with absolutely the wrong people. Because if they don't understand how important it is for you to recognize what deadly force is, then they don't know what the fuck they're doing. And I said that, and I'm going to stand by that.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to belabor that point at all. Absolutely. So, I had you rattle off, the definition of deadly force, but that's just simply the definition. I mean, understanding what that actually means. And again, I don't.
Yeah.
This is a short video.
Yeah.
Not to go down that rabbit hole. That's certainly something that we've discussed before, and we could probably have a really long form, discussion on how you define or what that definition actually means. But
yeah, well, I mean, what it means and when can you use it?
Right.
That's the other thing. Oh yeah, what it looks like so you can identify it. Thank you, Amy. Amy from W3 is here helping us out. Oh, and shout out to W3. Thanks for the caffeine magazine.
Yeah. So, anything else?
No. I mean, that was one of those moments where I thought, really? I mean, you're spending all this money and you don't even. So yeah, and that's a thing that bugs me. And for those of you who don't know about this, the whole reason we started this was Lee Curling's idea. At the end of the day, was that we need to do a podcast because here we are in the space, and there's a lot of misinformation, bad information, and information that needs to get out that isn't getting out. And so that's why we're here. And when I run into something like this on the street, literally, I go, I can't in good conscience be quiet about it. Because it helped her. Hopefully this helps somebody else.
All right. So thanks for watching. If you're still watching, if you haven't pushed the subscribe button, press the subscribe button, push the little like button, and I guess that's it. And we'll see you next week.
And if we didn't hurt your feelings,
you're getting good training.
Yeah. And bursts of thunderers suck. There you go. I got to throw that out in case somebody's listening who's shooting a bursa.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody's feeling got hurt.
Somebody's, yeah.
Yeah. Give Canik a break for a change.